Dear viewers, welcome to this YouTube channel. In this chapter, there will be an explanation of the ascendant, to begin with, is misplaced, as follows. The ascendant, to begin with, is misplaced. From case study 10.1.5 in the previous chapter. The native has the ascendant in Aquarius. Tanu-Lak, or the inner house ruling planet, which is Debilitation Rahu, 8, resides in Taurus. On the other hand, the moon, 2, is debilitation in Scorpio. They are in opposition to each other so that they both become exaltation. From the case study 01015 above, this horoscope has an interesting point on the difference between the calculation of the ascendant and utilizing the horoscope program. The truth is, when calculating the ascendant's location by online programs or local PC programs, as well as utilizing the 100 years calendar from Master Thongjua Aangkaew, compared with the original way of using natal disc, will end up with the same results. The ascendant would be in Aquarius and Venus, 6, is Tanu-Sed. The moon, 2, is in Libra and has Chula Chakra dignity. The moon, 2, will not move into Scorpio no matter how the time is changed. Even though the ascendant has moved into Pisces for several minutes, the moon does not make a transition yet, given that the ascendant remains in Aquarius. If the moon, 2, is in Libra, it indicates that Rahu, 8, is still debilitation. The horoscope would then be weak for both the inner and outer houses. The native would then be optimistic and so naive that she can be taken advantage of. Jupiter, 5, will become prominent and the native would be virtuous, which is not true according to the biography. If the time is changed so that the ascendant ends up in Pisces, Jupiter, 5, is Tanu-Sed. Even though Rahu, 8, is exaltation but the inner house planet, and Tanu-Sed is Jupiter, 5, which would guarantee honesty. The academic planet pair ends up in Aribhava, which implies that the native may not be good at studying. Therefore, a conclusion can be drawn that this zodiac house is not a correct placement, since it does not represent this fall from grace life story. However, when using the program Mahamoto to calculate the natal chart after moving up the time frame to the borderline 1 minute away from Pisces, it shows that the moon, 2, has transited into Scorpio and become debilitation. It is also in opposition to Debilitation Rahu, 8, which makes both of them become exaltation. This is correct according to the referred principles, while other programs cannot achieve. Then what does this tell us? It is doubtful whether each of these programs and ascendant calculation methodologies is reliable. How much can we rely on them? In this case, several points can be learned. For instance, the result of the calculation of the ascendant may vary depending on birth time, methodologies, and program used. Next is to verify if the result of the calculation is reliable or not. The ascendant's location and planet's location must be examined using a certain verifying process. They are mostly unchecked and exceptions are used instead as a justification. This confirms that the methodology of relocating the ascendant which has been used is correct. This is because Debilitation Rahu, 8, that unrelated to the ascendant despite being the inner house ruling planet, only represents credulity, naivety, and being easily tricked. It would not be impossible to become this intelligent and tricky, since the common principles that have been used so far would be violated. The results of this program still make the principles remain valid as usual. Although it does not mean that the mentioned program would be total without fault or better than other programs and methodologies. This is because other cases have not been tested. They may end up being as faulty as other programs, but at least it has shown that everything can be at fault, and it has not been solidified enough to become a reliable source of reference every time. Therefore, when things are still uncertain and we are still clung to them, we would be at fault as well. Please stay tuned for the upcoming episodes.